Hi guys, this is Klazartsc bringing you another audio commentary, and this time I'm commentating on Game 2 of the OSL finals between Jaedong and Stork. And Game 1 was a bit lopsided, guys, I have to say. I think Stork got a little bit lucky in it. He did play quite brilliantly. I don't think you can take anything away from Jaedong. I think he fought back as best as he could, and he nearly managed to fight himself back into the game with his audacious strategy of going those fast lurkers when his pylon was blocked off from expanding. But unfortunately, Stork was ready for him. Stork putting those extra cannons. I think Stork saw it coming, and that's why he put those extra 2 cannons down on the bottom of his nexus to try and counter that, to try and account for any sort of attack coming around from the side, maybe with hydralisks even, or lurkers, and in the end it paid off for him. One of the cannons survived, and it was just by the inches of the scruff of its neck. If that cannon had gone down, it would have been a completely different game. So this is being played on the bemusedly named Katrina map, and Jaedong is in Zerg in red, and Stork, I believe, is Protoss in yellow, and Jaedong is at the 12 o'clock position, and this time Stork is the one at the 9 o'clock position. So Jaedong scouting, interestingly enough, Jaedong scouting counterclockwise again, and this time his overlord is actually going to find Stork's base first, though I'm sure once Stork sends his scouting probe out, and interestingly, Stork hasn't sent an early scouting probe out yet this time after the pylon. He's decided to go for the economy, and interestingly, Stork going for the gateway here. This is a bit unusual to see, Stork going for the gateway straight away at the start, because on Katrina you've got the protected expansions, natural expos, and usually you see the Protoss player setting off the forge first and then building a fast nexus in their main. So and that usually gives them an unassailable advantage, the ease of putting up that expansion, and Jaedong is naturally going for that. He is going for the fast expand, which is the natural route to go on this map. An interesting strategy by Stork. You're interested to see if he puts up a second gateway, maybe go for some kind of a zealot rush, or is he going to proxy gateway? He's sending that probe down to scout, and I think he saw Jaedong's overlord coming in, so that's how he knew exactly which direction Jaedong was going in. Even if he didn't, that's usually the direction that Stork scouts in anyway. So he's going to find Jaedong's base. So it'll be interesting to see both players already diverging in their strategy. I would have thought that both players would have fast expanded. Jaedong has, Stork hasn't. Jaedong last time going for the 9 pool, this time, and Jaedong now spotting that probe and spotting that gateway, has decided to put the spawning pool down. He might have gone for a 3rd hatchery next. He might have been planning to do that, but he's been forced to adapt because his overlord has just hovered over that gateway. Stork, though, has not put a 2nd gateway down, so I'd be interested to see what Stork is going to do. Is he going to put up an assimilator and start getting some tech up, or is he going to put on a late nexus? What's he going to do? He hasn't put a 2nd gateway down. He hasn't used that probe to put a pylon out either, so he hasn't put a proxy in. But he's got his first zealot coming out now. I don't think that's going to bother Jaedong too much, a single zealot, because he's going to have that spawning pool up, and it's going to be a little bit hard through that. And Jaedong now sending that drone out to scout, and he's already scouted that base of Stork. He's already got that overlord over there, so the only reason he could be sending that drone out, it would be to scout possibly for the position of a proxy, I would have to say, and that's why he's sending that drone out, to see whether there's a proxy coming, because it doesn't make sense what Stork has done, just put up that single gateway, and Stork has tried to stop that drone from going out, try to keep the uncertainty in Jaedong's mind, but Jaedong with some good micro has managed to get that drone around past the zealot. He's also lured the zealot and probe away, so critically Stork has lost time that he could have been using to harass, and Jaedong has bought himself some time. So maybe it was a maneuver, rather than to scout for a proxy, maybe it was a maneuver to buy himself the time he needed to get that spawning pool up, to get the zerglings up. And now Stork is in and amongst Jaedong's drones and trying to take one of the drones. And one of the drones does go down, but the zealot is trapped, and he managed to maneuver out. So brilliant play by Stork, great micro, and now he's going to lure those zerglings away from the main entrance while he's got reinforcements arriving. And it looks like Stork has built something at the bottom left-hand corner of the map. And he is putting up an expansion, he's putting up a nexus. So this is an interesting strategy by Stork, because if Jaedong gets fast hydralisks up, Stork is going to be have a difficult time defending his main, because he hasn't gone for that forge yet. So I'm not sure what Stork is doing. Stork's strategy is certainly interesting, but now Jaedong putting down something, putting on another building. It looks like a 3rd hatchery, so Jaedong putting on the 3rd hatchery, and Stork doing a great job of microing on both ends. He's trying to do damage to drones. He's cut off a couple of drones, and he's continuing to pump those zealots out. The question is, how much of his own economy is he sacrificing for this? And again, Stork luring some of the zerglings out to fight them off by themselves, and brilliant multitasking skills being displayed by Stork, the kind we saw, and now he's punning away at that spawning pool, the kind we saw in his game versus Bisu, where surprisingly he 3-0'd him, but crucially Jaedong's got that 2nd extractor up, so Jaedong's bounding away in his tech. He's mining gas from 2 extractors now. Stork, meanwhile, I don't think he's got any gas, so at the very least, if Jaedong survives the attack, and Jaedong now forced to pull out the drones and trying to put up a united wall to stop Stork's zealots from getting through and splitting his zerglings out, and he's got a decent number of zerglings out, and he's trying to keep them together, and Jaedong getting a little bit more together now. I don't think Stork has done too much damage with this harass. He's done a little bit of damage, but I think critically he spent a lot of money on zealots, and he has lost a couple of zealots, so I'm not sure how that's going to weigh into the equation for him later on in the game. But once again, he manages to get through into the drone line. Is he going to be able to pick up another drone? Brilliant micro by Jaedong. He manages to pull the drone away. That one zealot is still going to, I think, and he pulls the drone away, so that one zealot is not going to be able to take down, but again, he's going to try and lure the zerglings away while a reinforcement zealot comes in to Jaedong's main to try and do some more harass. But I think Stork has built at least 7 or 8, maybe 9 Zealots, and he's lost most of them now. That's a lot. And already Jaedong is teching to lair, so we can see the tech advantage, and Stork managed to kill off a pro. But I think Jaedong with the 3 hatcheries is able to cope with that. He's able to produce the drones to make up for losing the drones, and Stork brilliantly kills off another. So I think this is going to be an interesting game. Stork has gone for a strange strategy. He has got that extractor up. He's now put that forge up. He's putting his first photon cannon up, so Jaedong's going to be forced to move his scouting overlord away. But Jaedong has already got his lair tech up. Stork is putting his Stargate up as well. But Jaedong's already got his lair tech going, so it'll be interesting to see whether Jaedong once again gets the Hydralisk down up first, or if he's going to try something different. I mean, generally you expect, and he's actually going for a Spire here, so Jaedong putting the Spire down first, and I think this is the crucial point in the game, because Stork going for those Zealots has given Jaedong the time in terms of tech, and now Jaedong putting up the second extractor has given Jaedong the time to get that tech up, and therefore Jaedong, realizing that Stork has spent a lot of minerals on those Zealots, has allowed himself the time to put that Spire up rather than go for the Hydralisk. And I think that's the correct move, and I think one of the crucial things that we can see that Jaedong has done here that Savior did not do in his game, and Stork going for the Citadel of Adam, and this is interesting that he's going for that. Is he going to go for just speed upgrade to Zealots, or is he trying to get some early Templar out? I'm not sure what he's trying to do here. Maybe he's trying to account for the fact that Jaedong is going to be producing a lot of Hydralisk pretty soon if he'd gone for a Den. Obviously now Stork does not have the benefit of the scout. He doesn't know what Jaedong is building, so he's going to be caught unawares. He doesn't know that Jaedong is going for the Spire. He's going to have that Corsair out soon, so he'll be able to scout then. But for the moment, he's not sure of what Jaedong's tech is, and that little time might make all the difference. Crucially this time, Stork seems to have only gone for the 1 Stargate. And again, this is the sacrifice he's had to make, folks, for going for that gateway and those Zealots. And I really think if he was going to go for rush, he should have put a proxy gateway down or put a second gateway down. He's only now putting down his second gateway, and he didn't, and now that Overlord is probably going to come on fire. But I think Stork's priority is to scout, and he is going to see that layer tech, and he is going to see that Spire from Jaedong, so Stork's scouting in the right direction, so he's going to see that Spire early enough, and the Spire is complete, so Stork is going to be a little bit trouble. I think Jaedong going for the right strategy. I think the most important thing is Jaedong has not spread himself too thin. That's something that we saw Savior do, but Jaedong doesn't seem to have done that. Savior had 4 bases up by this time. Jaedong still sticking in his main with the 3 hatcheries there, and now Jaedong sending something out to scout, I think, to see perhaps if there's a proxy build, or maybe he's going to try and expand. I'm not sure what unit it is that Jaedong has sent out. I guess it's probably a drone, and that's going into the 3 o'clock base, and now Stork trying to focus those overlords down that are around his main. He's got a couple of gateways up, and oh my god, so I thought Jaedong was going to go for Scourges once he had the Spire up to try and take out those Corsairs, but interestingly enough, Jaedong has got 4 Mutalisks, and the thing with Mutalisks versus Corsairs, yes, Corsairs do own Mutalisks because of their AoE splash, and Jaedong is expanding now at the 3 o'clock position. Interestingly enough, Stork, having seen that Spire, is now forced to build more photon cannons to defend his base, and I think Jaedong is in a pretty decent position this game here. Now Jaedong building some Scourges up as well, so it'll be interesting. Jaedong, I think, is doing the right thing here. He's trying to play for a different strategy than what we're used to seeing on this map between Zerg and Protoss. He's trying to get air superiority, and he's just sending a couple of those Scourges in now, probably to scout, and he's trying to get the air superiority, because once you cede air superiority to Protoss on a map like this, they just control the game and they can hit you everywhere. And I think Jaedong did the right thing. He waited to get those Mutalisks up before he put that expansion down. Excuse me, so that he would actually be able to defend it, and he's going to be able to, because even though Corsairs kill Mutalisks once they're in decent numbers, up until they actually get to having those decent numbers, the Mutalisk force is superior to the Corsairs, and now Jaedong has built himself up a decent force of Mutalisks, and he's got a couple of Scourges in, and it looks like he's going to go in for a little bit of harass here. That single photon cannon isn't going to be enough. Remember, Stork's mainly only got Zealots. He's luring those Corsairs out, and now Jaedong going straight for it. There's only 2 photon cannons. The Corsairs are running away because of the massive number of Scourges. 3 of the Corsairs have gone. He's going to take it down. Only 1 Corsair survives. The Corsair gets taken down. Stork has no anti-air. Brilliant by Jaedong. Stork has no anti-air. All of his anti-air has been wiped out in one fell swoop by Jaedong. He's sending those Zealots out, but Jaedong can just close the door. This is the advantage of this map. This is why it's so easy to protect your expansion, and this is why I was surprised to see Stork not build a robotics facility for any sort of drop procedure. And you can see Jaedong realizing that air superiority is what is the main point of this map, and now Stork is in a huge amount of trouble, because I don't see how he can possibly defend his main. He's going to lose his main. He's going to lose the 2 gateways, and Jaedong just blocking off his choke with Sunkens, and we can see a girl fan of Jaedong's clapping, and brilliant play by Jaedong. I'm really impressed, guys, and to me this looks like Jaedong is going to take this game, and really it has to be said, Jaedong with the Scourges hounding that Stargate, not letting Stork, and again Stork with only the 1 Stargate this time, not really able to produce, and that Corsair is doing some damage to those Mutalisks, but the 1 Corsair against those Mutalisks, and this is GG, guys. Jaedong is going to take this game. Brilliant, audacious play by Jaedong. You've got to give him full credit for this, and I've got to say Stork was a little bit lackluster here. I don't know what he was doing with that attack. What was the point of sending out those Corsairs like that? He's now got a lone Dark Templar out from his Templar Archives. I don't think that's going to do anything. Jaedong's choke is blocked off. He's got Sunkens. All he has to do is plant an Overlord there, and that's going to be the end of that. And he's seen that Dark Templar already with his Overlord. So this is GG. Jaedong's going to take this. And I just don't know what Stork was doing. He didn't really commit himself to any strategy. He only had the one gateway. If he had two gateways, I think he would have probably done a little bit better. But with only the one gateway, I don't see how he could have done a significant amount of harass. With two gateway, maybe Jaedong. But at the same time, you've got to give Jaedong credit. He did send that drone out, whether it was to lure the Zealots away or whether it was to scout. He sent that drone out. So he would have known if, and I think, to be honest, I think it was to scout a proxy. And if he'd seen a proxy, he would have built more Zerglings. So I think Jaedong really has accounted for everything and played a perfect game here. This time Stork not having any sort of advantage, and an even game in terms of the knowledge that the players had early on, and Jaedong seems to have come out on top. And I think Stork is just wondering what's going on here. Jaedong's preparation seems to be immaculate. He's come up with a brilliant strategy to counter the game, counter the strategy on the Protoss strategy on this map, and it'll be interesting to see how game 3 pans out. It's level at 1-1, guys. This is Klazartsc.